Robinhood gives you horrible bid ask spreads. So you'll get, if you wanted to buy the same contract on like a TD Ameritrade or a Charles Schwab as opposed to a Robinhood, you're probably going to be paying more for it on the Robinhood app as opposed to the other brokerages if you bought the same exact contract at the same exact time. And Robinhood's customer service is absolutely horrible. So if you have any type of issues with them, it's going to be emails, like waiting days for email responses. It's horrible. There's no phone numbers to speak to anybody. So everything will be handled with email. And if you got like big bread in there, trust me, that shit, you'll be ready to shoot somebody when shit like your account is frozen and they're not responding to emails. And also, in the drop that happened last month, there were a few days where Robinhood actually overloaded and people were unable to actually buy or sell or make trades on their phones in the middle of actual active trading days. So that alone is something that if you seriously trade and you can't even mess with anybody that even could potentially put you in that position. Because imagine if you are in a position and, price action is going the wrong way and you trying to sell out of a position to cut your losses, but Robinhood is frozen. You can't access your account. Like, that shit could cost you a lot of money. So definitely would not recommend Robinhood at all. But again, if you want to if you got like $100 and you want to just like fuck around on Robinhood, it definitely won't hurt in that regard. But I wouldn't put any type of big money on Robinhood or use Robinhood if I'm trying to take it seriously. Should I just clear out my stocks in Robinhood? I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's a choice you got to make. Me personally, I would not, I wouldn't tell. If I had a family member that had their stuff in Robinhood, I'd tell them to get all of their shit out of Robinhood as soon as possible. But, I'm not going to tell you what to do because, again, there's some people in the options gang right now, and it's so funny because anytime they talk about anything or complain about something, and it'll be like, which brokerage you use? And they'll say Robinhood, and then we start getting on them because everyone knows, like, what the fuck you still doing on Robinhood? But some people, even in the options gang, is still on Robinhood. So I don't fucking know why they on it, but they on it. But I get it. Robinhood is a very easy platform. 10 times, it's like, it's what, Apple, in terms of what it did to like user interface to technology, that's kind of what Robinhood is to trading. It really created the best and easiest user platform for you to learn. But that's it. Like, outside of that, it's a shitty product. Any place for the week. Are you a paying member of Options Gang? If you are, then you will get your plays when they come out. Yeah, y'all can ask questions, but I'm not giving any plays cost money. I'm not giving no plays out though. All right, going once. Let me know. Any more questions? Hold on. All right, y'all. Let me know if y'all got any more questions before we wrap this up. This was pretty good. I didn't even expect to be here that long. All right, no more questions. We're gonna wrap this up then. Do I use Greeks in my plays? So Greeks aren't written out in my plays. I don't know if you were on the earlier live when we were talking about it, but in terms of the Greeks, I do pay attention to them. I don't necessarily give them that much credence, with the exception of Theta. So Theta, and this is all speaking personally. This isn't. I'm not. This is not a objective fact. This is my subjective truth. I hold Theta in, I guess, higher regard than the other Greeks in terms of consideration, but it's still, the Greeks themselves are not. That information isn't anything that will dictate whether or not I make a play, but something like Theta may dictate. If I'm already set on a play that I'm gonna make, Theta may dictate the which contract I purchase in that play. So if I'm like banking on calls on Apple, Theta may affect what strike price I choose for that Apple play. So stuff like that. But it's not necessarily. It's not. Just for me, it's just not that important of a factor to make a play. I think it's more. It has more value in terms of analyzing a play you want to make, but I don't really think that Greeks give you any data that should be indicative of entry into a play. Anything else? All right, I'm about to wrap this up. Good looks for y'all for coming through. If y'all got any last minute questions, let me know now. I'll forever hold your peace because I'm about to wrap it up. Shouldn't. I'm not answering no questions about niggas being creeps. What expiration date do I typically use? Again, that's gonna vary. This is not, expiration dates aren't something that are done with any type of set rule in stone. It's just, I'm getting expiration dates based on when I see a movement. So I essentially use technical analysis to try to predict swings in price, and I try to buy an option contract that will capture that swing within X amount of time. So if I kind of feel like a swing is going to happen within a month, then I'll buy a contract within a month, for a month out. If I feel that swing is going to happen within a quarter, then I'll put it further out. If I feel like the swing is going to happen for the year, then I'll put it further out. It's not something that's set in stone. Your expiration date should be based on what your strategy is for that specific play. And strategy is important. You should always have a strategy when you're entering a play. So it's like, all right, I bought this options contract. I know what I'm going to do if it goes good. I know exactly what I'm going to do if it goes bad. That way you're not moving off of emotion. You have a set plan. You say, though, I'm only willing to lose 30% on this contract. If it goes down 30%, I'm going to sell. It's important to have a strategy and set up rules. But definitely the rules won't be applicable to your expiration date. Your expiration date is going to be subjective to whatever player strategy you have at the time. So I don't really think, but one thing you just got to keep in mind with your expiration date is the more time you have on your contract, the safer that play is. The more time you have on the contract, the safer the play is. Also, the more expensive that contract will be because you're paying extra premium for the additional length of time. So that's, it's going to risk risk reward ratio is always going to be there. And you're going to also have that relationship between the price of the contract and the risk. So the riskier the contract is, the cheaper it's going to be because it has less of a chance of being profitable. The contracts that are less risky are going to be more expensive because they have a better chance of being profitable. Are you actually buying stock? I mean, I have stock that, you buy stock. I have stock that I buy for like long-term portfolio holds, et cetera, et cetera. In terms of like options gang and like what we do with options trading, no, we aren't buying actual stock. We're only purely buying options contracts and selling options contracts. But each option contract correlates with an underlying stock. So, indirectly we're leveraged 100 shares of a stock without actually owning a stock. We just own a piece of paper that says we have the right to buy or sell a stock at a predetermined price on a predetermined date. All right, y'all got any more questions? Every time I'm about to wrap up, y'all when I first ask the questions, put the questions out. And then when I'm like, yo, y'all got questions, then y'all got like 3. So we got any more questions? Put out the questions now. Let's just get them all out. Any other questions? If we don't get no more questions, I'll give y'all like another minute. If you don't get no more questions, then I'm gonna cancel live. Cut it at 1:30. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it at. All right, I'm not gonna sit here for 4 minutes with no questions. Do I buy my options in the money or out of the money? I would say that question is just like the other question that was asked about the expiration dates. Whether you buy the contract in the money or out of the money, again, it's going to be depending on the specific strategy on that play that you're doing at the time. I think there's cases to buy contracts in the money. There's cases to buy contracts out of the money. But the main takeaway that you need to understand is that in the money contract is going to be safer than an out of the money contract. But an in the money contract is also going to be more expensive than an out of the money contract. In the money contract will also move, whether it's going up or down, at a less volatile pace than an out of the money contract, and that could be good or bad. So again, if for this example, these are calls, and you have 2 calls, one that's in the money and one that's out of the money, and the price goes up. Granted, if you have time on, all things being equal, and you have time on both contracts, and you definitely have to have time on the contracts for what I'm saying to be true. The out of the money contract is going to go up at a higher rate than the in the money contract, percentage wise. So, even if at that point you were able to sell that contract to someone else and someone else buy it, you just take that profit. That's the profit you made. Whether or not that contract becomes profitable when it comes to expiration, that's whoever bought that contract off for you. That's their problem that they got to worry about. So, you can make money buying an out of the money contract that never even that the stock never even hits the strike price of that out of the money contract. Once the contract is worth more than what you bought it for, you can make that profit, whether or not anything hits. So, just keep that into consideration. Good looks, Luke.